My name is Carrie Marsh Dixon. I'm the Executive Secretary of the Parks Commission, and I'll have everyone introduce themselves. Max,
I'm Max Ford Diamond. I'm the tree warden for the city of Boston.
Todd,
I'm Todd Neustor. I'm the Director of Urban Forestry with the Parks Department.
Liza.
Hi, Liza Meyer, Chief Landscape Architect with the Parks Department.
Okay, Mr. Spitz, you can go ahead. Let me just announce the hearing is the request to remove one Honeylocust tree measuring 14 inches in diameter at 602 Rear East 3rd Street in South Boston.
Great. Thank you all. First, I want to thank all of you for having us here today for this meeting. My name is Attorney Ryan Spitz with Adams and Moranci. I do have a business address of 168 H Street, first floor, South Boston. Before I begin, do I have the ability to share my screen?
Yep. Calliope, can you give him access?
Yep.
Says disabled still.
Sorry, one sec. I believe you're able to prompt me to, let's see.
All it says is when I click on share screen, host disabled participant screen sharing.
Yeah. Is there a way, does it allow you to push for, I'm so sorry.
I think sometimes if I was made host as well, I believe that has worked in the past. But sometimes this Zoom is a little bit out of my pay grade. Here we go. Let's see if that works. Yes.
Just worked for our last one, so hopefully.
All right. So you guys can see that screen?
Yep.
Perfect. Right. So
Sir, if you could just hold one moment, I just want to clarify with our team, there are people in the waiting room because this is a webinar, they can hear us, correct? They just are not able to participate until we let them in. Great, thank you so much.
okay, great. So
I
also
see Michael Buddha is there if you want to promote. That was the owner of the project, right?
he is. He is. Thank you.
Yep, I just sent him that push.
Hi, Ryan, I'm on the call. I'm not sure if you can hear me or not.
Great. Perfect. All right. No, Michael, you're good. I'm going to continue on. All right.
Okay,
So
thank you.
also, as you just heard from, that's Michael Buddha. He's the actual owner of 602 Rear East 3rd Street. As read into record previously, this is a request to remove a 14-inch locust tree in front of 602 East 3rd Street. Our reasoning for this request is the applicant would like to apply for a curb cut, which this tree is obstructing the placement of that curb cut. Understanding the parking crisis in this neighborhood, a curb cut would provide a great community benefit by taking more vehicles off the street to provide neighbors with additional on-street parking spaces. At the outset, in consideration of the removal of this tree, the applicant would also commit to trying to relocate this tree, paying the cost of the bond to the city of Boston of $7,700, and would also commit to working together with the city of Boston to identifying new locations to plant 2 new additional street trees, all at his own expense. So I'm going to move over to the presentation here. As you can see here, this is just a map here from the assessing department showing the actual property in the rear. This one here, I'm going to use my cursor a little bit. This is 602 East 3rd Street. And again, this would be where the access point would be. This is L Street. So it's on the just about on the corner of East 3rd Street and L Street. Here is a view of head-on kind of showing. Again, this is 602 East 3rd Street. In the rear, this is the locust tree that is in question for removal. This is another view of that street. So you can actually see this street canopy right here, that there are 5 existing trees in that same one location. It is, in our opinion, that the removal of that one location really will not affect the tree canopy on this actual street. here is the actual, this is an existing condition of the site plan here that's being proposed. The next drawing here, this is the proposed site plan here. As you can see here, that we're providing a curb cut of approximately 12-foot wide curb cut and an access way of almost 12 feet going back. The requirement would be a 10-foot passageway with the city of Boston. As you can see here, we're fitting 2 off-street parking spaces, full-size spaces in here. What we're also in the discussions with the land surveyor of adding an actual 3rd space in here. Again, this is an existing single-family home. The occupancy is not changing with this home. The owner purchased this property recently, is moving his family in here, and knowing and understanding the impacts and the crisis the South Boston neighborhood faces with parking. He feels that this will not obviously resolve the parking crisis that the neighborhood faces, but it will alleviate some concerns. Despite the fact you would be removing 1 space from on-street, but you would be providing 2 additional spaces, as far as on-street's concerned, by taking 1 of those out. Here is a little bit more of a graphical, what this will actually look like, if approved and if it is constructed. As you can see here, the biggest, the most important factor of this is the electric car charging stations, and emissions free with the mayor's initiative that the owner is actually adhering to and actually recommending of putting it in here as well. So I just wanted to give you guys a little bit clearer of an image of what that would be, what that actually would, the visual would look like if approved. What I'm providing here is we have 2 letters from the immediate direct abutters, one at 600 through 602 East 3rd Street here. This was a letter in support from the immediate direct abutter on the left if I'm looking at the property. And then we also have another a letter of in support that was coming from 604 through 606 East 3rd, who is the other immediate direct abutter, who those 2 abutters would be the most impacted on this site, both who do support this petition for removal of the tree. What I am showing you here today, we do understand Chapter 87 is that, if street trees were going to be, new street trees were going to be planted, you would need that owner's approval where those street trees would occur. So what I'm showing here, this is actually East 3rd. This is, if you're familiar with the area, there is a Walgreens and there's a Walgreens parking lot. And again, very close proximity to the block and to this property that, as you can see here, there are basically no street trees. That could be potentially a possibility where the owner would reach out to the owner of this property and try to obtain, again, there's no guarantees, but he would continue to work together and try to getting a commitment to allow for a placement of a new street tree. And then this is the corner of L and East 3rd, as you can see, heading down to Summer Street. You can see that there is no tree canopy in here as well. There are conversations being had with the owner of 45 L Street right here, which was a rental unit project that the owner does retain of adding some street trees in front of here. So again, that wraps up the proposal for today. And I'm going to turn it back over to you. I'll keep my screen up unless you'd actually like me to stop sharing. But happy to go back to any of the slides that I do have, and then I'll pass it over to you for any questions or comments.
Sir, could you please clarify, you mentioned that the owner would look to plant 2 trees at their own expense. Is that what you're referring to in front of the Walgreens?
Yeah, so we know that under 87 that the city, even though it's city-owned property, the sidewalks, they can't just go ahead and plant the tree without an adjoining owner's permission. So Michael would commit to working together with the owners to try to get their consent of allowing the city to replant those street trees. And the same thing with the other location here on L Street too. Very closely, try to keep it in within a close radius or a close block as far as replanting new street trees.
So to clarify, you said that the owner owns this property on L Street?
No, he does not, but he does. We do know the owner. This actually, 45 L Street was a project that my office actually zoned and completed. So we do have a close relationship with the owner that we're making introductions to begin the conversation to see if he would allow street trees to be planted in front of his property.
So that would be at 45 L Street?
Yes.
Were there trees there that were removed by that project?
No.
Okay. Is it the site where there looked to be 2 tree pits or 3 tree pits?
Yeah, basically, I mean, it's just tough where the map is. So this whole stretch going from 2nd to 3rd doesn't appear to have any sort of street trees right here currently.
Okay. All right, is that the end of your presentation?
It is.
And does the owner, Mr. Buda, would you like to add anything?
Michael, did you want to add any sentiments before they close it up?
Okay, I guess if he wants to add something later, we can allow. Max, do you have anything?
I inspected the 14-inch DBH Honeylocust tree a few weeks ago. The tree is alive and healthy at the time of inspection, which is why we are required to have a public shade tree hearing. I also spoke with Public Works regarding this curb cut application, and Public Works indicated that they would approve the proposed curb cut application if the tree hearing and removal of the tree was approved as well. In terms of letters of opposition, we received 6 letters over the last couple days in opposition to the removal of this tree. Everyone appears to be abutters of some type, from 602 East 3rd and 604, it looks like. I've forwarded all of those to you, Carrie, or Todd forwarded all of those, so you have those on record. I'm not going to read every one, but they all basically say the same thing. They all do not want the tree removed because of the canopy that it provides and the fact that it's taking parking away. And that they understand the rules of MGL Chapter 87, and they are all in opposition of the removal of the tree. We can share those with you as well, Ryan, if you want.
That would be great, please. Thank you, Max.
And Liza, do you have anything?
Just have a clarifying question. The property for 602 rear that's a private property that's behind the gate. That alleyway is part of the property for the rear house, or is it like a shared?
Yeah, so yes. So it's good question. So interestingly, many years ago, I think it was some sort of like a private way that was named like Harrow Place. But since at some point in time it was conveyed to the deed that the most current deed does have full ownership for 602R. So that is all a private way owned by 602R.
That's how it looked on assessing. I just wanted to make sure. You don't see that configuration very often, at least that I'm aware of in the city.
Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, most of the times you see a configuration like that there's just easement and passageway rights, but in this case, 602R has full ownership of that passageway.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have any other questions.
Ryan, can I chime in for a minute? I was on mute before. I apologize.
Yes,
this is Michael.
sure.
So just in regards to the alleyway, my understanding, talking with the zoning people that helped put the plot plans together for Ryan and myself, it was back in like the 1940s, late 40s, when they built a building obstructing the alleyway connecting 3rd to 2nd Street. And because they obstructed that alleyway, there was no other way for, I guess, easement to get to the property in and out. And that's when they conveyed the 2 parcels together. So that's the only way in and out for me at this point. But that's why it's such an odd configuration. It's the only way in and out to the building. Thank you.
Mr. Spitz, we need to get a copy of the presentation you just made, and could you also forward that deed so we have it for our records?
Yes, I'll have Michael track down the deed. We'll send you over to the deed, and then I will send you over the copy of the presentation as well.
Okay.
And
Todd,
I just had one quick question while we're all here. So I know you mentioned you had letters of opposition from 602 and 604. As you can see, I believe Michael submitted letters in support. So I was just curious, is the discrepancy between the two? Are you referring that, are they opposed? Just want to clear that up at 602 now, because obviously I do include in part of my presentation that they did submit letters in support.
Yeah, so when you submit that, I will go through them and
great.
see what the difference is there.
All right, great. Thank you.
okay, Todd, do you have anything?
Actually, that was my follow-up question, just for a little more clarification on the letters that were included in the presentation, but apparently that will be reviewed when we can look at the presentation more thoroughly.
Okay.
Great, perfect.
All right, are there, it looks like we do have some public members. If anyone would like to comment from the public, you could raise your hand and we'll enable you to speak. Okay, I'm not seeing anyone raising their hand. Are you seeing? Max?
No, I don't see.
You don't see it, okay. Okay. If there are no public members that would like to speak.
Oh, there's someone holding their hand.
Okay. Julian, could you please identify yourself?
Hi, yeah, Julian Kelly. I am one of the abutters. I live at 606 East 3rd Street. I was one of the letters of opposition. I've lived on this street basically my whole life, and that tree's been there for as long as I can remember. Years ago, they've tried before to put a driveway there. It was always successfully, it was stopped, it was opposed. I don't really see any reason why now that should change. And, we love that tree, and it provides lots of shade and is a habitat to lots of birds. So I just want to go on the record, with that statement. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Alex Street.
Hi, I'm Alex. I live at 602. And one of the things that was discussed with us with the removal of the tree is the fact that there would be no shade on the building of 602. And the residents above us also agreed that this would unfairly drive up our AC usage in the summer, which it would be an unjust burden on the residents there for the tree to be removed. Given that summers have gotten hotter every year, and they will continue to only go in this direction as well. That's all I have to say.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Okay. Max, would you like to summarize the process moving forward?
Yeah, so from today, we have 2 weeks to offer our official response to your tree hearing request. I will speak with the members of our staff that are on this hearing, as well as with the commissioner of the Parks Department to discuss the outcome of this hearing. Within 2 weeks, you will receive a letter from Carrie, Marsh, myself, and Ryan regarding the outcome of the hearing. If the hearing is approved, you would have to pay, the $7,700 bond that you spoke about previously. Once we receive the bond, you would then get a notice to proceed. You also have the right to plant trees within the public right-of-way in front of this location to recoup some of that money. But as we've noted, there is no room in the front of the public right-of-way, given that you are going to be putting a driveway there. If the hearing is denied, you will receive a letter in that regard as well, and the tree must be protected moving forward.
Great. Max, I just have one question before you guys fully wrap it up. So it seems to me that there may be a difference between being a renter / owner. So it appears that we have owners' signatures in support where the tenants are coming up and speaking. Do you guys cross-check and give more weight to the actual owners, or does it carry the same weight upon an opposition letter for the removal of this tree from a renter to a landlord? Well,
so Chapter 87 says that any letter in opposition.
Okay.
It doesn't say whether they are a owner or a renter. It just says that any letter in opposition. But yeah, I will go through the letters that we received and take that into consideration.
Great. Thank you, Max.
And that's it though. Yeah, no one else has their hands up. So we can conclude this hearing, and you'll be hearing from us in 2 weeks.
Great. Thank you all for your time. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.